Majid is here to my right. How you doing there, buddy?
Hey, buddy, I'm on your left, actually.
You're on
Actually, you're on top of him. No, you're on top of him.
Hey, no, that's for phrase.
And of course, as always, my friend Drew. How are you doing there, buddy?
You can't tell by the sadness behind his eyes. He is exhausted. Look at him.
I'm always exhausted. You know, it's funny because like I hear you guys complaining about your babies and all this stuff, and I'm just sitting here just perpetually exhausted. And nobody asked me how I'm doing.
I just asked you.
Everybody's like, "Where's Drew? Where's Drew?" Not how's Drew.
When was the last time you saw Drew? You saw Brad before you saw me last.
I see you every time I close my eyes.
Oh well.
I think
I don't have to come back.
that's a little creepy.
I mean, you could have reciprocated a little bit, but all right, whatever. You just let me hang.
You know that.
So
you know the love is there.
Yeah, I do. It's unrequited, but yeah, it's there.
So how's everything been? Anything new with the two of you guys?
I got that fence installed.
Nice.
Yeah.
You joined the club with like I did.
I joined the club and I was overwhelmed with emotion because you guys know I've been busting my butt all year with this project. Well, all projects, renting the bulldozer and getting things cleared out.
By busting your butt, let's clarify here. You're busting your butt by hiring people.
I hire for the fence. There's certain projects I won't do. Yeah, right. Let's clarify that part. But when it came to the bulldozer and cleaning the land out, getting the existing fence down, like that was all me, bud.
I didn't think they'd allow you to drive a bulldozer. Isn't that like a state law?
It's a mini bulldozer?
No, Majid's allowed to drive bulldozers.
I mean, I'm no lawyer, but I've watched a lot of Suits. I think that I can argue the fact that I can drive it if I rented it. I can also drive it like I stole it, but that has
which is exactly what you did. Drove it like you stole it. Not actually stole it.
Well, we don't really know that, do we?
I mean, we don't. I wasn't there because I wasn't invited.
Let's take a second on this one. Hey, Drew, you want to hang out this weekend? Oh no, I'm working 18 days in a row. Oh man, that sucks. Drew, when do you have off again? Christmas?
I wish I had Christmas off. Are you kidding me? I don't even have Christmas off. I went to the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo this weekend.
Oh, how was that?
It was a lot of fun. I bought a bunch of video game soundtracks and vinyl, which was pretty cool.
Oh wow,
I got
very expensive.
Exciting.
I got this cool badge and a pin and a patch, and generally had a good time.
That's good, man. You deserve it. Treat yourself.
Yeah, I didn't get to stay as long as I wanted to. We had some family obligations while we were out there, but that was fun too. Although I love my in-laws, but they are exhausting.
Do they listen to this podcast?
Nope.
They would get upset then if they listened to it.
No, they know how exhausting they are.
They're aware.
They're fully aware.
Exhausting.
And my wife is aware too. She'll tell you.
We got the Connecticut Gaming Expo coming up in a couple weeks. I'm actually gonna go.
That one.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
that's
be
cool.
there on that Saturday, so it'll be nice.
Friend of the podcast, son of a Fitch. He's actually going to be there. You should track him down.
I like him.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I like him. And I don't think I'd ever recognize him in public. So I think what I'd do is like the Terminator did. He carried a picture of John Connor. I'll just carry a picture of Son of a Fitch.
Well, I actually ran into him at the con. We were hanging out a bit too, and that was pretty cool. And my buddy Nick, that's an alias.
I don't like that you have friends outside of this friend group.
I know. There's been a lot of jealousy over the years, man, and it just doesn't seem to get any better.
In a death match, this friend group can beat up your other friend group.
Why would you want to do that, though?
Me, Frank,
Franks.
Wayne, Franks. Sorry,
Yeah.
Franks, Wayne, Brett. We could beat up your other friend group.
But why?
I would just bring a case of beer. I'd be like, hey, here you go.
Just be friends with them. Just be friends with them.
You know why Brad would do that? Because Brad can't fight.
Just be friends with them. Like, they're really cool people. You've met them. You've actually met them.
Oh my God! I've helped them help you move.
Yes,
I met them.
And-
no, they're great friends.
and at a barbecue. Memorial Day, like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Good.
I remember that day clear as day.
All white people look the same to Majid.
Oh my god.
Oh
Isn't
my
that the
god.
truth? Isn't that the truth?
How dare you read my mind? Oh, no, please, God, no. Oh God.
Vote for edit.
I don't. No. I listen.
Now editor's
let's
leaving
not-
that one in.
Editor, leave that one in.
I'm
The real
removing my
editor.
own mistakes and leaving yours in. Yeah.
Oh man. So guys, I watched 3 episodes of Star Trek today. You should be proud of me.
3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait. How did you watch 3?
Well, yeah, we had Subspace Rhapsody, Hegemony, and Those Old Scientists.
How many times have you watched Those Old Scientists now?
I'm up to 5.
Are you really?
Wow.
I'm up to 5. I love live action Boimler. I love live action Mariner. I can't get enough of them. Oh God.
I've
I
watched
would have loved to see live action Tendi.
I've watched that episode once.
Oh my God.
Great episode, but
You know,
I think I'll wait for the next rewatch of this series.
yeah.
it was a missed opportunity for Ransom to not meet number 1.
Yeah.
Brad.
Jerry O'Connell, that would have been great.
Yeah. And his wife, supermodel Rebecca Romaine O'Connell.
Does she
Is that her
does
name?
she hyphenate? I didn't think she hyphenated.
I don't know. Rebecca O'Connell? Rebecca Romaine?
I thought she was just Rebecca Romaine.
I thought so.
Romaine.
Okay. We take a journey on the Starship Enterprise in a tale filled with spirits, speculation, and singing. The crew start this marvelous journey investigating a subspace fold. Spock, the mad scientist, theorized he could triple the speed of subspace communication with this strange phenomenon. However, the results are a little bit not really working out so well. And Uhura is now back to being a switchboard operator. Because, you know, that's rather than routing a call directly, it apparently takes way too much operating power and is not possible for a starship.
I mean, this is like, you know, a nice little throwback to like the 1920s or whenever phone lines were invented. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Get off it, Brad.
Fair.
Get off it, Brad. It was great.
Much is occurring on the Enterprise. Pike and his girlfriend, Captain Patel, are trying to figure out their vacation together. Chapel is looking for new opportunities, which will cause her to leave the ship. And James Kirk beams on board to Shadow Number 1. With Kirk on board, Lan Seng is acting a bit of out of sorts due to her past encounter with him.
She's got the hots for him.
Clearly. And, you know, what could possibly go wrong? Spock having little luck with this experiment, Pelia suggests transmitting music into the fold, and Uhura picks the show tune. This sends a wave through the Enterprise. Pike takes quick action, asking for status reports from the ship. Spock provides a status check from engineering in song. This leads to each corresponding station providing a musical update of their statuses. Gentlemen, what did you think of that opening line, man? That opening sequence of the whole, hey, you know, this is the musical episode.
Do you want my
I
hot...
didn't know what to expect. Oh, go ahead, buddy. Sorry.
I was going to say, do you want my my hot take now or at the end?
I want it now.
Maybe
Give it
I
to
should
me now.
wait, actually.
No, give it to me now. You don't tease me with it. Give it to me now.
You know what?
I think we should wait.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait.
How about we? Oh, God, I was gonna say we flip a
But
coin.
you know what? Hey, Majid, you know what? What about that intro though? The acapella intro for the actual Starship Enterprise.
Oh my God, I loved it. You guys ever watched Pitch Perfect before?
No.
Yes.
Jesus, Drew. That's strike one.
I mean, just give me the demerits now. It's going to be one of those episode
Is
has.
it really?
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I don't give you demerits. I give you strikes.
Well, whatever.
You get unlimited strikes and they don't mean anything, unlike demerits. They mean everything.
I mean, we can go with the baseball theme and like 3 strikes, you're out. 3 outs for an inning.
But you're the editor. You can just edit out the strikes.
True.
Anyway, so Pitch Perfect, Drew, it's just about a bunch of a cappella groups and they compete on the big stage.
This sounds like the plot of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
The video game?
Well, I mean, the show's based on the video game, so sure.
So how the a cappella group has to find Carmen Sandiego by looking up landmarks?
Have you ever heard of Rockapella? Did you ever watch the show?
No.
Oh my God. Hold on. You never saw the show Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
I mean, we literally 30 seconds ago just established that.
All right, we'll talk about this later, but I'm blown away.
So let's move back onto this episode, gentlemen. The crew attempts to solve the reason why they start singing. Kirk and Una venture their way into Jeffrey tubes, and of course that leads into a song and a little bit of a dance, which inevitably leads to Lon seeing them together, and she seems to be feeling very mixed emotions, jealousy maybe, or anxiety. I'm not really sure, but of course that leads into more song, and we kind of get like a music video-esque type sequence here that felt very, I don't want to say country music, but it felt very country music to me. The Kirk brothers eventually work together on a plan to collapse the fold. However, things only start to get inevitably worse, and it starts to spread through all of Starfleet. The crew identify that deep emotions seem to cause the singing to occur. Pike proposes the idea to destroy the fold, but after some quick calculations from Spock, he comes to the conclusion that by doing so would devastate the Federation. And wouldn't you know it, the Klingons have decided to show up at that time to destroy the fold. Lon decides to finally tell Kirk what happened in the past and how they connected between each other. And that's kind of also when we find out when Jim is in a relationship with Carol Marcus, who is pregnant.
I exclaimed loudly. I was like, that's bullshit.
Well,
Well,
Whoa. Break it down to me. True.
it's kind of spoilers for the future.
Which future?
TOS.
Well, the movies more specifically.
Which movies? With
The movies from TOS. So, number 2? Yeah, it's 2.
Yeah, the Wrath of Khan.
That's when we learn of Carol Marcus. I think that's her actual first appearance.
It's her first appearance, yeah.
And yeah. Wait, didn't he not know he had a kid?
Correct.
But in this, he did.
Correct.
Huh.
I can see the mental math going on in Brad's head right now. It's adorable.
I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, they kind
No,
of
I just
they went off course on that.
you haven't seen anything as to a reason why, do you?
I have not. No.
Well, I mean, hey, it sets it up for the actual future.
So-
and I guess in some sense,
So then
it
how
does
old
make
is
more
this kid
sense.
then?
Well, let me do a little bit of math here.
I think he's like 20s when his first appearance.
2259. Let's see this. 2259, and then let's see.
So do you actually meet
I mean,
Carol Marcus?
so he was like 25
Okay.
when we meet him. So it tracks. It tracks. Like if we're looking at the timeline, then yes. But yeah. Well, I'd have to go digging, for the specifics. But the gist of it is that, this kid knows of Kirk but never meets him, and then eventually does meet him. And it's a plot line that runs through a couple of the movies.
Ooh.
More than one.
Yeah.
I want to. I really want to just jump ahead and watch some of these movies.
Yeah, I mean, there's a case to be made. If we're being honest.
Honestly, you could watch all the movies and still go back to 2S, and it really wouldn't impact you too much. I don't think.
Would disappoint you greatly, however.
In what way? What do you mean?
The movies are, with minor exceptions, the movies are so much better than the original series.
Okay, that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can, if you want to go ahead and watch the movies, Majid, go for it. But yeah, the TOS in comparison, I feel the movies are better too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to Uhura and Spock. They devise a plan that if the whole crew spontaneously sing together, they will be able to break the hold that the Fold has over them. And through a suggestion of Pike, Uhura gets the crew to go into a full ensemble of the entire crew. With a showstopper of a musical number and, of course, the help of a Klingon boy band, they're able to break the free of the subspace hold.
Oh my god.
Essentially sum up the episode, Klingons make a great boy band. Pike apparently is very difficult to go on vacation with, and Spock has mad singing skills.
Listen, I forgot who said it. I think Kirk said it. Pike said it. Nobody wants to hear a Klingon sing. I want to hear a Klingon sing. And that was at the beginning of the episode. And then when they broke out in song, I lost it. I think I jumped into the chat immediately and said, "Oh my god, just singing Klingons is the best thing ever."
I laughed. I laughed my ass off when that happened. I'm not gonna lie. That was just hilarious.
They see it as dishonor. It's so great.
I really enjoyed that part, but I feel like that was a missed opportunity because it would have, in my mind, been more appropriate to do Klingon opera than like a Klingon boy band just doing some sort of raps.
Well, the Klingon opera has been established as something that they're into. I think the boy band aspect was a little bit more of a modern take. Plus, it was unexpected and for them, like ultra dishonorable. So I think it fits the vibes of everything Klingons would be against. But from a in-universe standpoint and what we know of the Klingons, then yeah, sure, I would agree that the opera I think would be a better choice. But I mean, this is an episode that clearly didn't take itself very seriously. So why would the Klingons take themselves seriously too?
It's clearly K-pop.
Right.
Brad got that. Drew, should I have to explain it to you?
I know what K-pop is.
But then why don't you chuckle? Like, give me a sensible chuckle like Brad gave me a sensible chuckle. It's K-pop. It's clever. Editors.
So, Mr. Editor over there.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that you may not have truly enjoyed this type of episode.
Guys, I hated this episode.
What?
I hated it. Hated it.
That's strike two.
I do not like musicals.
Oh my god!
I do not like them.
In a general sense, as in any type of musical, or just more of only TV musicals.
I guess both. I have more of an appreciation for stage. I think like I've seen a couple musicals at the theater, on Broadway, things like that, and I appreciate them more. When it's TV or movies, I really dislike them, and I quite honestly would rather see any single play ever other than a musical if given the choice. So that said, I tried to go in to this with a open mind, and I couldn't wait for it to be over. I could not. It couldn't end fast enough. The only thing that I genuinely enjoyed about this was the Klingon part, and that got a chuckle out of me. And then it was over, and then The episode went on for another 10 minutes and it was excruciating.
Well, I know what not to get you for your birthday. A vinyl pressing of this episode soundtrack.
Please don't.
Please
do not
totally
do that.
get that for me, man. I'll take that.
Well, I mean, Sever can get to it first because, you know.
Brad, if he gives it to me, I will give it to you.
So Majid,
You can't re-gift
how about you,
that.
man?
I just did. But before you pivot to him though, let me just add that while I strongly disliked this episode, I do respect what they did. Right? I can appreciate the hard work. The cast is clearly having a good time. I think everybody had a lot of fun with this episode. So for those that love it, like, I'm really glad it exists. Right? And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope anybody that's listening enjoyed it. I will never, ever watch this episode again.
Ooh,
Ever.
Okay.
that hurts me.
Majid, how about you,
in a
man? How
way.
did you?
I love musicals.
How'd you think of it?
I love musicals. So the first time Ethan Peck belted out the solo, I had this giant smile on my face, and I put down my phone. My phone was down the entire episode. I put on the surround sound. My daughter and her cousin were here, and they're like, "What is happening?" I said, "Shut up." I said, "Shut up. Let me enjoy this." And then my daughter's cousin, she's like, "Oh, so and so Spencer from Vampire Diaries." I'm like, "Who? You know this guy?" She's like, "Yeah, that's he's from Vampire Diaries. I didn't know he could sing." Like, "Oh, that's cool."
Was referring to Ethan Peck?
Kirk. James Kirk.
Really?
Yeah. But by the way, Drew mentioned it briefly in our chat. We should have gotten a Kirk brothers duet.
Oh yeah, him and Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Listen, I really don't see the point of Sam being on the Enterprise. I don't. I'm sorry. I still don't. I don't even see the point of Kirk, James Kirk being on the Enterprise.
There isn't one.
Yeah. Well. And when we get into the next episode, I have problems with that other thing, but we'll get to it.
All right.
Well, I don't listen. I love musicals. I think a lot of that is Lin-Manuel Miranda's fault. So Hamilton, In the Heights, the Encanto soundtrack, Moana, every other musical that he's contributed to has been my jam. Secret Time, part of my workout playlist, is songs from In the Height and Hamilton. So My Shot by Hamilton, the Hamilton soundtrack, it's gets me through my jump rope.
Nice.
I can't sing it because we don't want to get. Can we get demonetized?
We're not.
I can guarantee you that any of your singing probably would not get picked up by the things that determine that. And we don't get any money anyway. So what's the point?
I was kind of hoping you talked me out of trying to sing, but I'm not
Sing
going to
it,
do it
buddy.
anyway. Nope,
Sing
I'm not
it.
going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it anyway.
Sing
I have
it.
nothing to prove. Yeah, listen, Drew, you want strike 3?
I mean, why not?
No, I'm not going to give you strike 3, buddy. I love you too much for that.
Well, thank you. But you should sing.
I'm not giving up my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I don't know the rest of the words.
You're doing much better than I am, man.
I think it's losing something in the translation.
Oh man, great episode. Great reasoning, by the way. I just thought they were gonna like encounter like this mysterious alien like Q, and
Yeah.
Q makes him sing everything. But it was actually a scientific reason for it. And was this our first interaction between James T. Kirk and Spock?
No, they had a minor interaction in previous episode.
Okay. Because I know Kirk mentioned to Lon that, Spock would want to, do something different with the chess move. But I think, I remember this one being the first where they actually talked to each other. He's like, "Hey, yeah,
They talk a little more. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like yeah, that thing you explained was almost understandable. Good job. Great interaction. I wouldn't be fully opposed, by the way, guys, of a show after Strange New Worlds ends, where it's basically picking up where TOS ends, or even before TOS. I don't know. Like something with this, something that's not going to waste this cast. You know, get some more Ethan Peck on the screen. Get some more. I don't know any other characters.
I
I have some comments on that one. I'm gonna hold off until the next episode, though.
Well, I would just. I would
right.
just. I'm just going to disagree with you on that one, man. Like
Shrek 3.
the cast is great. Whatever. The cast is great, but like I'm sick of rehashing the original series. I'm sick of them trying to rewrite it or just color in all the lines, you know, before and after it. There's so much Star Trek that has yet to have been even broached. Like what happens after the movies, right? Like there's like what, over 100 years, 150 years worth of Trek, 2 whole enterprises that have never even been explored, you know, and not to mention everything after that in the future. So there's so many places they can go, and they have this, they feel compelled to constantly go backwards. And it's just very frustrating.
It's the law of diminishing returns. You're going to want to keep going back to the well. You're going to want to keep going back to the thing that made you money, that has made you a household name.
Well, it's a safe bet.
It is.
Ace in the hand type thing.
Yeah, it's the reason why, I'm not sure if you guys saw the Flash movie, but it's the reason why the Flash had all those stupid, god-awful cameos, because they played it safe. They played on people's nostalgia. They did cameos for properties that have already been established and just made them a lot of money. It's a thing.
It's not
it works.
necessarily not necessarily. To me, from what I understand, the Flash isn't doing so well.
Oh, the Flash sucked. But in general, though, that theory usually works. I think Christopher Reeve actually said it too. You're going to want to keep going back to that same well, but the more and more you keep doing it to recapture that same feeling, you're going to run into the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah, I agree in that sense, and I think with rehashing the same characters is probably it's going to keep going that direction, and I'd rather see new stories, new characters. I like the idea of was it Star Trek Legacy, where they have some of the old crew but more of the new.
Yeah,
and to me that is more appealing than going back to, you know, a reboot of TOS.
Yeah, I'm with you. But still, I would just love to see them explore the Enterprise B, the Enterprise C, or some space in between that. I think there's so much untapped potential.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah.
I did love this episode, however. Me being a musical type of person, I really enjoy any type of whimsical type stuff like this. I never really realized how much I needed something like this. Honestly, I know this will upset you, Drew, but I was hoping that this would be a reoccurring type theme and would love to have a musical episode each season now.
Drew would drop the podcast at that point.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. It's like, you know, people like to eat pizza, but if you eat pizza every day, it's going to get kind of gross after a while. Or the same with steak or whatever. Like, you know, you have to sprinkle these things in periodically, otherwise they lose their specialness. I get it. I've done chicken breast every single day for weeks. Yeah.
And I don't want to say I got sick of chicken breast, but you know, you got to give it some different flavors every once in a while.
It loses its appeal. So if there was a musical episode every season, we're talking about diminishing returns there. I think you'd start seeing them pretty quickly.
Oh, I would totally still be up for another one.
Okay.
The one thing I did find out that Anson Mount apparently is not really much of a singer.
Yeah.
And thinking about the episode, I feel that you could tell which actors were more comfortable singing than others, because they really focused on the characters. So like Lon, Chapel, Spock, and Number One, like those were clearly actors who really enjoyed or wanted to be able to sing. Whereas you got M'Benga and Pike kind of more off in the background. M'Benga was even like just a few, it was more spoken singing as opposed to actual singing.
Didn't he like come right out in the episode and say that he doesn't like singing or something like that?
Yeah.
Even if M'Benga wasn't comfortable with singing, you know, it didn't really show through. It worked well for the story, especially with Pike, right? When Pike was talking to his girlfriend on the main screen, you know, it just got really uncomfortable.
Oh, that was so great. Yeah. I loved that moment.
Yeah, Pike's reaction to when everyone started singing on the bridge was just great. It was just really good reaction. I think it's the kind of reaction Drew would have. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Uhura ended the interaction between the two. Just like hung up on her.
Yeah. Uhura, by the way, just singing at the end, just humming the song, got everyone scared.
Oh yeah. You see, this is the type of episode I would more likely watch over and over again because I just love the songs in it. If I have an opportunity to purchase the soundtrack for this, I totally would.
I think it's available.
It's available. Yeah,
it's
available.
Oh man, I totally need to get that.
Yeah. Do it, man.
I'm gonna look it up and see if it's on Spotify right now.
Spotify.
Yeah, it's on Spotify. Do you have Spotify,
Oh
Brett?
man. Yeah, of course.
I will drop you a link.
Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy.
And then I'm going to burn it from orbit.
As a fun note, Drew, you pointed this out to me, is that the Klingon who showed up in this episode was the same actor who played Hemmer.
Yeah, Bruce Horak is the Klingon commander on screen.
Nice. I didn't even realize it looks nothing like.
Well, I mean,
the actor.
He's wearing a ton of makeup. The character's name is Garkog, by the way.
Wait, who did he play?
The Klingon commander.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, Bruce Horak. Well, I mean, he's under a pile of makeup, so you know.
Well, I don't know what he looks like anyway. So,
right.
I would really hope they keep bringing the actor back in just different outfits.
It seems to be something they're kind of doing, you know. I mean, he mentioned that he was going to be back in season 2 in some capacity. I don't think Zombie Hemmer was on my bingo scorecard, but I can assure you that singing Klingon Captain wasn't either.
This is a very common thing for Star Trek, is to just bring back actors in multiple different roles. What's that guy's name? Who played Wayun?
Jeffrey Combs.
Yes, he's been in so many different series and played so many different characters. It's just phenomenal, and it's funny when you look through some of the credits for some of these people. They just keep popping up over and over again.
Vaughn Armstrong, I think, is the one that holds the record for the most appearances. You would know him as probably mostly as Maxwell Forrest, Admiral Forrest from Enterprise, but he was also he's a Klingon, a Romulan, at least one or two Cardassians. He's been on Voyager, DS9, Enterprise. Yeah. He's been in 14 different things. It's absurd. So he's a popular one. I mean, there's a few other actors. It's just every time you see him on screen, it's I know them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Bruce Horak seems to be the one for Strange New Worlds, which is, I love it. It's great.
Oh, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, can't forget these what's his name? The director's brother, who just showed up again this season.
Clint Howard.
Clint Howard. Yeah.
Another one.
He's a repeat. Yeah.
Right. Same idea.
I was really fanboying with Clint, man. That was just such a I was like, oh my god, it's the guy.
He had such a small role, though.
I know, but still, it's Anything else you guys want to talk about before we move on to the next one?
I cannot wait to move on to the next episode. I'm so done with this episode.
So, gentlemen, let's move on to the season finale. We joined the USS Cayuga. Cayuga, right? Cayuga.
Mm-hmm. I phonetically spelled it.
I know you did, and I just was like, well, Cayuga, in orbit of Parnassus Beta. Why didn't you do that one, man? You should have done that one.
I figured that one was easier.
No, it's Parnass ass. I'm an ass. Okay, I see how it is.
Oh,
Hold on. I'll fix it for you.
Parnassus
How's that?
Beta. A world modeled after small Midwestern towns. Well, not necessarily a world. It was just like a few. There's only a few thousand people there. I think. What did they say? Around like 6,000, I think.
I don't know. Maybe.
Something around that. It's got a barber shop, a soda shop, and absolutely no way to defend itself from attackers. It lies outside of Federation space. What could possibly go wrong? Well, Nurse Chapel hitchhiked with the Cayuga on her way to her fellowship. Captain Patel and company swing by Parnassus Beta to give them vaccines, but only half the population believes in science and chose to complain about the Federation on social media instead. Too soon? No?
I'm laughing at my own joke.
I can tell. Chapel returns to Cayuga after chatting up with Patel. Patel gets a long distance call from Pike. I'm sure the rates are through the roof because of that. The two have some friendly banter, and just when Pike confesses to missing her, the signal dies. It just kind of goes flat out dead, cuts off without really much of a warning. And all of a sudden, we see a shuttlecraft crashing to the planet, followed by a massive ship entering the atmosphere. Back on the Enterprise, Uhura is getting a distress call from the Cayuga. They're under attack by the Gorn. So it only took like 10 freaking episodes for that final "the Gorn are coming" from the first episode. That's all. That's all it took. Pike orders the Enterprise to Parnassus Beta, and they hide behind a moon where they see the Cayuga has been destroyed. They quickly realize the sensors, transporters, and communications are all being blocked by an unknown source. As they scramble to come up with a solution, the Gorn arrive and apparently drew a line across the middle of the system, claiming like Parnassus Beta as their own, plus half of the sofa and the TV, kind of like, what the heck, man? You guys are jerks. I guess that's where picture-in-picture come into play.
I mean, you'd have to, but I mean, then who gets a smaller picture, You're going to have to like do rock, paper, scissors for it, or what's the deal?
Whoever has the remote is the true winner, I would say, in this situation.
That's true.
Against the orders of Admiral April, Pike decides to go commando and take a group of volunteers to the planet with some experimental weapons.
Hey,
they take
sorry.
They take a ship.
Do you know what going commando means?
Yeah, without any underwear.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page here.
I mean, there's no evidence for or against Pike's underwear, so
I think because Pike is such a military man, he's gonna want to keep things like in check. So he's gonna wear some boxer briefs.
When I was thinking of commando, I was thinking about more of like along the lines of like Arnold Schwarzenegger going commando type thing.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger probably went commando. Unless you're referring to the movie Commando, where he went on revenge.
The movie.
Okay, you cannot say somebody's going commando and not immediately have this person think, oh yeah, he's letting it all hang out.
I don't know, Drew. Was that where your mind went?
Nope, not at all.
You're liars.
Okay.
Such liars.
So yeah, Pike goes down in a shuttlecraft that looks like debris from the Cayuga. Ortega's is totally enjoying her first away mission and is, I don't know, bat freaking crazy, man, when she's flying that ship down to the planet. Even Pike had to be like, hey, Ortega's, maybe you should pull up at this point. She's like, no, don't worry about it. I got this. I did this like 200 times.
Right. Pike, the ex-test pilot. He's scared.
Yep. So Pike, Ortega's, Lan, Mbenga, and Sam Kirk make their way to the destroyed town. A giant device from the Gorn looms over them. They believe it's to be the source of the interference. Lan tests the new phasers on a single young Gorn with great success. However, that success kind of lives really short when a giant group of them show up. The crew run to the barbershop because Pike needs a haircut. He pick a very inopportune time, but you know, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Wait. What are you doing at the barbershop?
Get a haircut.
I mean, it sounds like you have to go to the bathroom.
Well, it's Pike's peak. He needs it trimmed.
But you said he had to go.
Yeah, to that barbershop.
But you made it sound like you had to go to the bathroom.
Who's on first? Who's on first?
I did not say anything about him going to the bathroom. I
You just said he has to go.
said he has to go. And
When you
have
gotta
to
go, you
have
gotta
to
go. I've never heard. Look, I mean, I'm bald, but I've never heard anybody refer to that in a way that implied they needed a haircut immediately.
Maybe that's because you don't really have much hair.
Hey, Drew, are you trying to do that thing what I did with Commando?
I mean, it sounds like I'm succeeding, but
You are doing much better than Vegeta's. I can tell you that much.
How is that even fair? Oh, you're so lucky you're in Atlanta. So I would do nothing. I wouldn't ever physically harm you. Let's continue.
So the Gorn are oddly enough not fighting for dominance. They're kind of going with the flow, which Lon points out. The crew of the away team, pick up a distress signal, and they fall into a human-made Gorn trap. And they look over the trap. It's it just basically kicks up a force field, and it's created by a Scottish Starfleet officer, which turns out to be Montgomery Scott, the future chief engineer of the Enterprise. Scotty explains that his ship, the Star Diver, was observing a star when the Gorn attacked them, and he barely escaped alive by hiding in plain sight, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he had like some kind of a transponder that he used on the ship to mask his signals and make it look like he was also a Gorn.
Mm-hmm.
He's a miracle worker. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Well, that miracle worker leads the crew to Battelle and Company, alive, bit of a rough shape. There's like a few dozen survivors hanging out in a diner, I guess. Yeah, it's a diner, right?
Oh, diner.
It's a diner.
Scotty suggests to Pike and Battelle that the transponder probably is still okay in his shuttle, and that's really what helped them escape from the Gorn. Back on the Enterprise, 2 more Gorn hunter ships show up, kind of causing some concern with the crew of the Enterprise. They do feel that they have identified the source of the jamming signal, so they kind of devise a plan to crash a ship into the planet without the Gorn knowing it's intentional. This basically involves attaching 2 rockets to the damaged or mostly destroyed Cayuga saucer section and having it, go directly into the atmosphere, which is apparently a huge feat of strength because you need to line it up. And of course, none other than Spock is the one who volunteers to go take care of this.
He's pretty adamant that he's the only one that's capable of doing it too.
I think I didn't mention it earlier. As a side note, is that it is believed that Chapel is dead at that point, or more than likely dead,
right? Because
she beamed right up to the Cayuga. And I say that only because we find out she's not.
Right.
So right around this time, she wakes up and apparently is the sole survivor from the attack. Right around this time period. And I'm sorry, I think that's a little bit of a stretch, if you ask me. Her being like the only individual who happens to survive. And she wakes up finally at this particular point after how much time has elapsed. I think it was Patel mentioned it was like 24 hours when at some point in the episode. So to me, it's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's implied that she's the only one that made it out alive, but we don't know that for certain. You know, there might be others. We'll never know because the saucer section burned up and smashed into the thing.
Yeah. Well, before we kind of get into that, Chapel kind of goes through her own thing, and we actually see like full grown Gorn, I think now.
That was good.
This is our first experience. And I want to comment, Ed, if you think about the Gorn in this episode and then the Gorn in TOS that Kirk fights, Kirk would be annihilated. I'm sorry.
Well, yes.
Well, I mean, unless you throw a boulder at him. Nobody had a boulder to throw.
That is their only weakness.
or that Gorn that we saw in TOS is like the grandpa Gorn and is like the eldest of elders type thing.
Well, he was the leader, right? Because both Kirk and the Gorn were leaders.
Yeah, the captains of the ships. Yeah. Anyways, Chapel ends up finding a way, you know, seeing Spock coming at the ship, and things kind of get intense. There's a Gorn there, and eventually she makes it to a spacesuit, and she goes out to meet Spock. But apparently there's another Gorn in space, and there's an fight sequence between Spock and the Gorn and with Chapel on the side. Chapel ends up helping out by barely grabbing a phaser and shooting the Gorn
in his shoulder.
Something.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Spock ended up smashing the Gorn's face mask and causing some sort of decompression and suffocation. Well, back on the planet, though, Pike, Patel, and Scotty make their way to the shuttle. They approached by a Gorn, and Patel kind of stands in front of them, being like, yo, I'm going to be Chris Pratt, and you're going to be the Velociraptor, and I'm going to stare you down.
Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Brad's going off script.
Yeah.
Mark for edit.
Right.
No. I'll allow it.
Wasn't that bad.
I'll allow it.
But turns out Patel, she's infested with eggs. She's in trouble, right? So that makes me actually wonder how many of the other survivors are infested with eggs.
Probably more than they're willing to realize.
Yeah.
But that's the whole reason why they back down. And Scotty, right around that period, Scotty's like, yo, something's coming in. You gotta duck. And then the Cayuga crashes into the monolith. Yeah, the monolith, right? And Pike's like, yo, 3 to beam up directly to sick bay. Beam up the rest of the crew. We see the 3 of them beam up, and then we see other people beam up, and we think things are good, but no, it turns out things are not good. We get Patel thankfully to sickbay, and she is getting treated there. Scotty goes to Pella and says, "Hey, we got to hook this stuff up." When Pike gets to the bridge crew, turns out all the other survivors, they're beamed out somewhere else. They were beamed to a Gorn ship.
Did you guys notice that the beam pattern was different?
I did. I noticed that and I was like, huh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Why is it like that? But that includes what? Sam Kirk, Mbanga, Ortega's,
Yep.
Lon.
Basically anybody that wasn't Patel or Pike or Scotty or
Yep.
Chapel or Spock.
Yep. And so at that point, Pike has to make a decision. Fight, flee, try to get his people back. What is he going to do? Sum up this episode. To be continued, to be continued, to be continued.
The worst, most hated 3 words a Star Trek fan ever has to deal with.
You know, I was not expecting that.
Neither
I was
was
not
I.
expecting them to do a to be continued.
Yeah.
Neither was I. How'd you feel about that, though?
I honestly was like, can we have season 3 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this rate, you won't have season 3 for 3 years.
I know.
Well, we don't know, at what point in production they're in, but obviously the writer's strike and the screen actors strike are putting a serious impact on that. So,
Yeah. I tried to shoot my shot with Anson Mount on Twitter a couple weeks ago, and he took a break from Twitter entirely because of the strikes.
are you sure he didn't take a break from Twitter because you tried to shoot a shot with him?
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. That would suck, right? Way to make me think about it, though.
Yeah, it was definitely you.
Hey, can I tell you a secret? Like, secret time? I fell asleep with this episode, and I heard
This
the end
afternoon?
credits. Yeah,
This afternoon.
yeah. I heard the end credits. And I was like, it was like 4 minutes to the end of the episode, and then all of a sudden, I just hear the end credits. I said, "What the hell? Did I just what did I just miss?"
I suppose
And
you're going
I
to
missed
blame
it.
being tired on a baby.
I have a new puppy. His name is Kylo. I have my other furry child. Her name is Stella.
You've had them for like a year and a half.
At what point can we not blame our furry children?
Real talk though, freaking Metro, like the way he sleeps in the bed with me, it actually causes me back pain. I've tried kicking him out
God.
repeatedly and he jumps back in. It's the worst.
Brad is not amused. Brad is not amused. But no,
So did you actually watch this episode?
I did. No, I
or-
watched the episode. I didn't love it. I was kind of upset about the Scott reveal. I'm like, oh, you're not Simon Pegg. Get out of here.
You know,
But he's not going to be
I-
Simon Pegg.
I like Simon Pegg. Don't get me wrong. I think Simon
Careful.
was good
Careful.
as Scotty, but
Oh.
I like this guy better.
All right. That's strike 2 for Brad. That's another demerit for Brad.
I don't have an opinion either way. Simon Pegg was great, but like let's just get it out of the way, right? You're not going to get the movie actors to play these roles. Full stop. So, unfortunately Simon Pegg's too busy and he's not going to take the pay cut and he shouldn't be in the role.
Well, he's too old.
Whatever your rationale is, he's not going to be him.
Drew,
Right.
good point. I'm going to remove one of these strikes.
Well, thank you. So that said, if they're going to insist on bringing all these characters in, which is a problem that I have with Star Trek right now, like move forward, not backwards. But if you're going to do it, we have to consider how well it's done, right? I thought they picked a pretty good actor.
Yeah, I think so too. He's Scottish.
I like
right?
him. I don't know if he is for real. I mean, but
He's doing a good job.
James Doohan was Canadian.
Oh, Welshie?
Yeah.
Welshie.
Let me see if I can find some information on this actor, though. Let's see here.
Ooh, speaking of Scottish.
Martin
Hey, Brad.
Martin Quinn is his name.
Ooh,
He is actually from Scotland.
nice. That reminds me, Brad, speaking of Scottish, that restaurant you took us to in Manhattan, what was it called?
The Korean barbecue place?
No. The Scottish restaurant you took us to.
I never took you to a Scottish restaurant. I took you to a German restaurant.
I remember
Oh.
that.
Oh, my bad. Anyway, all right, cool. I don't know why I thought it was Scottish.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you thought that was Scottish either.
Mark for edit? No, don't
nope.
mark for edit. He's like, no. No. Yeah, no. Okay, cool. Anyway.
I think I'm I think I'm right there with you, Drew. It's I would like to go forward more so than just rehashing the origin story of like every single Star Trek Enterprise crew member.
Right. What I do find interesting here is last season they killed off Hemmer. And I lost my cool, and I immediately jumped to the conclusion that they were going to replace him with Scotty. And they didn't. They replaced Hemmer with Pelia, who's been in like 4 of the 10 episodes, and seemingly has like absolutely no purpose to be there. And now here we have another Gorn episode, and now Scotty's here. So I don't know. I think it's kind of coming full circle. But I would not be surprised if we see this guy on the Enterprise full time next season. Don't know how they're going to get there, but that's
but Scotty wasn't even full time on the Enterprise when Kirk was on it.
Yes,
right?
He was.
No, at the beginning in season 1, we just watched like 29 episodes, and Scotty was only in 1 or 2.
It's not more than a couple.
He was in a few, yeah.
I mean, he's not in. He wasn't in every episode. You're right, but I mean, neither was Sulu. You know.
Oh my.
You know, I was thinking about how like Discovery, they've introduced like side characters that didn't really have much of an impact in the overall story, but they were there occasionally. Like the one that comes to mind is Jet Reno. I don't know if you remember Jet, and I love Jet. I think Jet had like phenomenal chemistry with the cast, but when it comes to Pelia, it's very stale.
Yeah, I don't think she's a good fit.
I don't feel it's the actress or anything. It feels very forced with her in there.
It seems like an afterthought to me, anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I don't really have enough of Carol Kane's work. I'm not familiar with her work enough to say that she's a good actress or a bad actress. I think she's doing fine with what she's given, but I don't think it's compelling. And whether that's her fault or the actor or the writer's fault, I don't know. Just not enjoying it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to agree with you on that one too.
Yeah, I could actually care less.
Yeah. So I guess if they're going to have a chief engineer, I mean, I suppose, having Scotty come in is an improvement. I mean, this actor had way more chemistry in the 20 minutes he was on screen. Not even. He was on screen like 10 minutes. He had more chemistry, and it was more compelling and entertaining than she's been this entire season.
Yeah, I agree.
I wonder if you feel that way because the character. You're familiar with what the character is supposed to represent. And in a way, even if it's just subconscious, you're looking forward to that interaction between this character. There's 2 legacy characters.
Well, I would agree with that, but I'm also like against it. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that, because it's just when he popped up, I was like, oh, cool. And it was like, oh man, they're really trying to do like a reboot, aren't they? Like that's how it felt. Is like they're preparing for a reboot of TOS, and I'm gonna watch it because I'm a Star Trek nerd, but I would prefer to have something new, something fresh.
I'm with you 100%. Go ahead.
And I also feel like I'm afraid that they're gonna start pushing more and more issues that will interfere with like the canon, I guess you could say, because if you think about what we just talked about, Carol Marcus, Kirk knows she's pregnant, and I remember in the movie, just he's like, I have a son type of thing. It was like a whole big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Star Trek 2 in a while, so I'm trying to recall if it's a reaction of like, I knew she was pregnant, but I never met the child. So, it's a son, or, could have easily have been, it's a daughter. But, is it that, or is it, I had no idea she was pregnant?
You see, like if it was more of the first part, that would just mean like Kirk's an ass.
Right.
Like he's a horrible person because he knew she was pregnant all along then,
Right.
and it just was like, yeah, I never figured out, what the kid was or anything. I didn't.
It
thought
makes him.
to ask.
It does give him the vibe of like a deadbeat dad.
Oh, totally. And it would just my opinion of him would just go tank. It
Right.
really would.
Right.
But with focusing on this episode though, how did you guys feel about the Gorn interaction?
I thought that was scary as hell, dude.
Yeah.
Another horror episode to finish us off, I guess.
No, not quite. But so the Gorn are hyper intelligent, right?
Seems like it.
So they were trying to hack into the ship's computer.
It seemed like it when they were on there.
Yeah, it's unclear what that Gorn was doing, but I'm sure he was trying to get some information.
Hacker man. Yeah, I don't know much about the Gorn outside of them having a weakness for boulders. Like, I know nothing about them.
I think you're kind of in the same boat as me and Drew. I don't really know much other than what we've been shown so far.
Well, we've seen the entirety of the Gorn on screen. They didn't. I don't think there were ever any Gorn episodes outside of Arena in any of the series. It could be mistaken. Maybe there's something in Enterprise.
Let's see.
Maybe an Enterprise.
But I mean, we've certainly gotten more development in Strange New Worlds than we ever had anywhere else.
So Gorn was in TOS Arena, TAS Time Trap,
Okay, so that's an anime series.
Enterprise, and A Mirror Darkly Part 2.
Okay.
Discovery, context is for Kings, but it was only the skeleton.
Right, so that don't count.
LD, which one's LD?
Lower Decks.
Lower Decks. Much Ado About Boimler, Motto only, and then Strange New Worlds. So that's all we have on the Gorn.
Yeah.
That's all of their appearances.
Yeah, so it's been, with the exception of Arena and Strange New Worlds, it's just been one-offs and side things. So they're a species that's been largely untouched. And like from that perspective, I think it's totally fine that if they're going to reboot a villain, like why not the Gorn, right? Because there's nothing for them, and quite frankly, what they did on the original series was a joke, But that's what they had at the time, and for whatever reason, they did it that way. It is what it is, right? So why not give it a special, fresh approach? And I think they're doing a great job with it. Like they feel like a villain to be feared in a way that we haven't seen since the Borg in the Next Generation or the Dominion, in my opinion.
So according to Memory Alpha, Lower Decks has had the most appearance of the Gorn.
Okay.
But
That was
only.
probably just drawing. It was like drawn in or something.
Well, like models. Apparently it says model only. So
yeah.
Much Ado About
So it was just
Boimler.
them being drawn in. That's all it would be. Then.
An embarrassment of duplers. I guess a Gorn was there as well, but not in model form.
I don't know.
And Veritas. I've been watching Lower Decks while working.
Well, you'll have to report back to us on the Gorn appearances.
All right, I'll run through it again because you told me to, and you're the editor, and I respect you. Please don't cut me out of the episode.
You got it.
That being said, I did not like Hegemony.
Why?
I just didn't. I just did not find we've done this emotional parkour before in terms of tone. I just didn't like this one. Every other episode I enjoyed. I didn't care for this one. A lot of coincidence, right? Coincidentally, Nurse Chapel. Again, we know Nurse Chapel wasn't going to die, but I guess speaking from the normal, first time viewer, they probably didn't know that Chapel was going to live into TOS. But me, as someone who's seen Chapel in TOS, I knew, okay, well, she's not in danger, clearly. The coincidence, though, of her seeing Spock in the ship, outside the ship, was, again, just coincidence. The one suit being available for her, coincidence. It's just, I didn't care. I didn't care for it. Wasn't a fan. Maybe I'll give it another shot. Maybe when I'm watching Those Old Scientists, maybe I'll jump to Hegemony again. And I'll see.
I think staying awake is a prerequisite for enjoying any episode. So
I only fell asleep at the end.
Drew, how about you? How did you feel like Hegemony really?
I liked it.
Was it a good season finale?
I think it's as good of a season finale as we're going to get from Strange New Worlds. Yeah, I mean they've established the Gorn as the big bad of the series, and yes, they again diminishing returns. Right, if you have them every episode, they lose their impact. But they foreshadowed it in the first episode of the season. They established how deadly they are in the last episode of the previous season. Right, so to wait a whole nother 10 episodes. A whole nother season, basically, to see them again and to drive home the point of how serious of a threat they are. I think they did a really good job with that. There's stakes, Patel is infected and could very likely die. You had a ship, which is of the same caliber as the Enterprise, destroyed by the Gorn. That's supposed to have some weight to it. You have people that are in need that they're struggling to rescue. So I think they did a great job with that. And now Pike is faced with making a decision of whether or not he's going to rescue his crew or heed the orders of Starfleet. And I think we all know that he's going to rescue the crew. But I'm glad that they didn't try to rush that in and squeeze it into this episode, because it just would have been, it would have felt rushed. It would have diminished the impact of all of this stuff. So it sucks having to wait until season 3 comes out, but it gives me something to look forward to in a way that we didn't have from season 1 to season 2. We just knew that, hey, season 2's coming out. I can't wait to see it. Now it's like, I can't wait to see this story get resolved.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the classic TNG, Voyager, and Deep Space Nine stuff, where they would typically end the final season episode as like that cliffhanger.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're really trying to tap into best of both worlds with this, and I think they mostly succeeded.
It sucks though, because even the producers, like, it's taken 4 years to make 20 episodes because of COVID, because of the strikes. It's really bad.
Yeah.
So 4 years to make 20 episodes. That is so wild to me.
As much as I would hate to not see a season 3, I would be okay if they did like a standalone movie, where they did a 2-hour special to finish up the season or the series.
Well, they got greenlit for another season. It's just bad timing and it sucks. But everybody's on board.
Yeah.
So it'll get done.
Well, you say that, but with the strikes and all that stuff, I've seen some shows get canceled.
No, that is true. I mean, I think it's happened already, hasn't it?
Yeah. There's a few shows that are on the chopping block, unfortunately. But this hopefully will not happen, and we'll be able to maintain many, many more seasons to go.
Brad, what did you think of this episode?
I actually really enjoyed it. Had a very horror-esque type feel to it. The Gorn were more present. Gave me some more questions about how the heck Kirk survived when he first fought a Gorn, realistically. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was enjoyable. The Scotty bit was a little... It was exciting, and it made me sigh at the same time. I enjoyed the actor, don't get me wrong, but I would prefer a much more fresher approach to some of this stuff rather than just being like, hey, let's get the crew back together and do it again. We got an alternate reboot of TOS in the Kelvin timeline. That was as much as that was a thing, I'm okay with them not doing it again. That's kind of where I'm at this point.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it all pans out, But I'm I'm excited about it. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I just wish they would be a little bit more gingerly with pulling from the old cast, or not the cast, but the old characters, I should say.
Yeah. Completely agree on that one.
So,
and anything else either of you would like to say?
What are your thoughts on the season as a whole, real quick?
I think as a whole, for me, the season did a very good job. There were a few episodes that were okay, that had some just meh moments, and unfortunately, the meh moments tend to be involving Pelia. That I think was probably the most unfortunate thing, but overall, I really enjoyed it. I loved the crossover event. I loved the musical. I liked the time travel episode. There was the courtroom drama one too was phenomenal.
That was a really good one. I think that's going to go down as a classic.
Oh, I completely agree. I don't get me wrong, I love the crossover and I love the musical one, but that one I feel is like one of those very intense, well done acting. I could even see them getting like awards for that one. But overall I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. If I had to,
how about you?
If I had to pick my top 3 episodes for this, in order, it'd be Those Old Scientists, Subspace Rhapsody, second, and then Ad Astra Aspera as my top 3 for this year. Like, I love those 3 episodes.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. Like, I think those are my top 3. Except I think Subspace and Those Old Scientists are just reversed for me.
Yeah, Charades is also up there as a pretty good one. I like the goofy stuff. What about you, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, Charades I thought was a lot of fun. I kind of dug Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. That was a fun time travel one, which was a little bit on the heavy side. Ad Astra per Aspera was great. Those Old Scientists was great. Under the Cloak of War, I think, as heavy as that episode was, I really liked that.
With a surprisingly jacked Mbenga.
Yeah, like that was a really deep episode. So it's hard for me to just narrow it down to 3, but I think my favorite would have to be Those Old Scientists.
Yeah.
One thing that I kind of felt was a little funny. The season felt to start off with like a slow start. The Broken Circle, that was just kind of okay compared to a lot of the other episodes. And I think of the other episodes, the only other one that I really didn't care for was Among the Lotus Eaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one is kind of fallen out of memory, I would say.
Yeah, Lost in Translation for me fell out of memory.
Yeah. But you know what? I think you have 10 episodes. Not all of them are going to be 5 out of 5. Right.
Well,
so I think
overall, there are some shows that can pull it off.
Well, Star Trek has never really been one of those.
Well, wasn't Picard season 3 like that, where every episode was like a banger for you guys?
For the most part.
Yeah, it was.
But a lot of that relied on nostalgia too, in a way that this one isn't able to. And I'm not saying that that's the only thing that worked for Picard season 3, but that was a big part of it. But the writing was also strong too,
Yeah.
And that's also difficult because that is an overarching story that takes place. Well, really, going back to Next Generation, they're kind of picking up off of that. So.
Well, hopefully we have to wait another 4 years for an episode of Strange New Worlds. Ooh, buddy. We have
Lower Decks coming out.
Yeah, soon.
And very
soon.
I'm pretty excited about that. It's less than a month, or is it about a month away from us?
Less than September something.
Yeah.
So that's
that
exciting.
I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I may have to watch another season of it again.
But I mean, that said, we're going to be going back to the original series again. We have season two of the original series. And I don't know about you guys, but I was thinking about trying to catch up on some of the episodes before we start dropping new ones.
I think that is a good plan.
So that being said, I don't know when, but I guess as far as releases go, we're going to be on a slight hiatus, right?
I think that's a good idea. We will be probably back before the end of the year. I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah.
But it may be a few weeks, maybe a month at the most.
Yeah. I'll just check Airtable, and whatever Drew tells me to jump on and watch an episode, I'll just do it.
You got it. But you'll do it at the last minute.
That's how
I'll watch it like 30 minutes before the episode starts.
That's how it stays fresh.
Yeah,
but then you fall asleep.
Yeah. Oh my God. Nursing this pinched nerve, and I can't sleep at night. I'm tossing and turning.
Pinched nerve.
You see this, Majid? This is me playing this world's smallest violin.
Oh man, he's always going to talk about the pinched nerve and how much it hurts. It's like,
I can't bench anymore. I feel weak. This is a point of pain for me, Drew. Emotional pain in addition to the physical pain.
There are other forms of exercise. That's all I'm saying.
Ugh, cardio. Ugh, cardio.
Focus on your legs, man.
Hey, you leave my legs out of this. I have nice quads. I just don't have nice calves. I have nice here. Look here. Let me show you my quads. Actually, I can't show you my quads right now.
I'm perfectly happy if you don't take your pants off.
I'm wearing shorts. But you would like to see my legs. Anywho, enough of this getting kind of R-rated.
Yeah, why don't you go eat and have some food, Majid?
I ate already. I ate before we came out, buddy. Well, we were waiting
more.
For you I don't want to eat more.
Well, gentlemen, is there anything else you would like to recap before we part ways?
No, I'm good.
No.
Well, thank you, listeners, and we will catch you next time with season 2 of TOS. Look forward to having you listen with us.
That was lovely. That was adorable, Brad. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Yet Another Star Trek Podcast. We are a part of the Retro Sessions Network. This episode was recorded on August 13th, 2023. It's hosted by Brad, Drew, and Majid. I, Drew, am responsible for all the lovely editing that you hear right now. Brad and myself both split up the episode summaries this week, and Majid is responsible for all of our social media. Special thanks to William Grubbelar for writing our theme song and interstitial music. You can listen to Warp Speed, To the Stars, and all of his other originals at his SoundCloud page. Check it out. Also, thanks to George Ratau for drawing us up like Lower Decks. We really like those characters, and well, we like looking like them too. It's pretty sweet. So be sure to check that out on Fiverr if you'd like to commission work from him. We have links to both of them in the show notes. We've also got links to all of our social medias, including Blue Sky, Twitter, X. That's weird. I can't call it that. It's Twitter. It's Twitter, right? Right. We have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and of course our website, www.yetanotherstpod.com. Of course, we're available on all of those social media platforms at yetanotherstpod. We'll be seeing you in a little while, taking a short break while we get ahead of our production schedule with episodes for season 2 of Star Trek, the original series. So please bear with us, but don't unsubscribe because we will be back shortly. Give us a month or two. I'm not sure how long it will take. Who knows? Thanks for listening. We'll see you later.